Good evening, everyone. I want to talk about theory of production. Production. Now, when you talk of production, it's all about the creation of goods and services to satisfy a need. The creation of goods and services to satisfy a need. So the creation means that the thing, the item, the product was not in existence, and you are bringing it into existence, and that's creation. And remember, that can be by innovation or invention. So invention, you are introducing it for the first time, or innovation, you are trying to modify or add on to what somebody has done already. This is a form of production. All right. Now, what we have to know is that production is never complete until the product that we have produced, until the commodity gets to the final consumer. Production is never complete until the commodity gets to the final consumer. And therefore, distribution forms part, an integral part of production. So you cannot separate it. So when you produce a commodity, then you have to ensure that people use it. It gets to the consumers. And when you produce something, people don't use it, it means that you have done cost 90. So as a teacher, you come and stand in front of people, you talk and talk and talk and talk. People don't understand anything. It means production has not taken place. For production, people must actually benefit from whatever you are doing. People must understand whatever point you are making clearly as a teacher. And that's when we can say that production has taken place. Or as a comedian, you are supposed to entertain, put smiles on the face of people, put laughter in the mouth of people. But then as a comedian, you come, stand in front of people, you talk and talk and talk and talk, and nobody laughs. Then it means that you have done cost 90 work, and for that matter, production has never taken place. So production must always satisfy a need. And that is why we even learned earlier that in a free market economy, producers must produce according to the taste of people. According to the taste. You produce something, people must what? Must use it. Otherwise, you have done cost 90 work. Good. Now, classification of economic activities. Basically, there are three types of economic activities. You have the primary activity, secondary, and then the tertiary. So for primary activities, basically, we deal with natural resources. We gather natural resources. And examples of primary activities are fishing, farming, hunting, and so on. But remember, secondary activities rather involves manufacturing, trying to transform the resources made available by those in the primary sector into finished goods. And that is what those who are in the primary sector are about, or that's what secondary activities are about. Transformation of raw materials into finished products. And basically, it involves professions like carpentry, masonry, or let me say building and construction, and what have you. And then we have tertiary sector, and this comprises services. So those in the service sector like banking, shipping, and then lecturing, and so on. So let's talk about production in the short run. There are two time periods when it comes to production. You have the short run period and then the long run period. The short run period is a time period where at least one factor of production is fixed, but then others are variable. So at least one factor is fixed, but then others are variable. So for instance, we may have, let's say, a farmland, a given farmland of say 5 hectares or acres. And then we keep on employing people on that same 5-acre land. That's a short run period. The size of the land is fixed, but we keep on changing or varying the number of workers. And that's short run period. But the long run period is a time period where all factors can be varied or changed. And that is, let me say, futuristic in nature. So in the long run, even the size of the land can be varied. So now, if you're in the short run, you are, let me say, working on a 5-acre land. The 5-acre land is fixed for some time, but then you will be dreaming of increasing the size to, let's say, 10 acres. So between now and the time you are able to increase the size constitutes your long run. And in the long run, we can vary all factors. Now, before we proceed, let's try to look at measures of productivity. We have total product. Total product simply means total output. Total amount of goods and services produced. That is total product. And then we have the average product. Average product is simply defined as total product per unit of labor employed. So simply, if you divide total product by number of workers employed, and that will be that will give us our average product. Now, marginal product, that is change in total product as a result of change in labor. That means by employing one more person in addition, the output that we get is our marginal product. In economic theory, marginal simply means extra or additional. Extra or additional. And that is our marginal product. Additional product obtained by employing one more person. All right. Now, let's discuss the law of diminishing marginal returns. The law of diminishing marginal returns. The law states that when more and more units of a variable factor are added to a fixed factor, the marginal product will eventually diminish. So, the law of diminishing marginal returns. When more units of a variable factor are added to a fixed factor, the marginal product will eventually, finally diminish. What the law is saying is that on a fixed factor, assuming you have a 5-acre land, and then you keep on employing people, on that same fixed factor, a time will come that instead of experiencing increases in marginal product, you will end up experiencing decreases in marginal product. So the marginal product will fall. The marginal product will fall when you keep on adding more units of labor. A time will come that the marginal product will keep on falling and falling and falling. And that's the law of diminishing marginal returns. Now, what we have to understand is that the law of diminishing marginal returns is based on three main assumptions. Assumption 1, we assume that only two factors are employed. We assume only two factors are employed, let's say land and then labor. So you keep on increasing the number of workers on a given farmland. Instead of experiencing increasing marginal returns, a time will come that the marginal product will continue to decline. And then also, we assume that all the factors are equally efficient. So, labor, land, and even the number of workers employed have the same level of efficiency. And then finally, we also assume that the technology they are using, the method that they are using is the same. So labor 1, labor 2, labor 3, labor 4, we assume that all of them will be using the same method. Thank you for your attention. In our next video, we will look at tabular and graphical presentation of the law of diminishing marginal returns. Thank you for your attention.